Is October 26th at 6 p.m. and as promised, here's my rant of the day. I'm going to try to keep this one. I say this all the time. I'm going to try to keep this one short. Thing is, I'm not doing anything else right now. I knew how long I was going to take to eat, to do groceries, all that other stuff, get home. So I knew basically if version 2 was not out, and I checked last around 5:30, that I was gonna spend the time on this. If version 2 was out, I'd be too busy to even care, because version 2 would be out and I wouldn't care. And this isn't about Run 8, by the way. This really has very little to do with Run 8, um, or the team, because they're doing the best they can. And this isn't a rant about Run 8. It really isn't. It's not a rant about anything to do with that. But it is a rant about other entities and their delusional importance to the community, or whatever they think they are. Um, I don't know how else to characterize this. So, anyways, I'm gonna give a warning, a disclaimer out right away. I put this in my YouTube channel. I warn people on the RTS Wikia, or whatever the hell they call it now, fandom, or they renamed it or something, but it's still Wikia, but whatever it is. So, this is my rant on the entitled ones. That's the name of the title. That's it. And I said, warning, this may offend you. So you've been warned. If you offend easy, basically, just turn it off. I don't want to offend you. I don't want to get your feelings hurt. I don't want, basically, even if you are an avid Run 8 and or RTS supporter, I'm going to be talking about politics in Run 8 and politics in the United States. I'm a Canadian, by the way. I don't get to vote in this next election. But I can guarantee you this vote has major implications. So I'm going to talk about it in this. And, if I offend, or if you agree to disagree with me, that's fine. I'm not, you want to debate, we can debate civil or anything like that. I don't care. So basically, the United States and the real world, you have been warned. Okay? So if you're not into the drama, if you're not into any of this stuff, you've been warned. Okay? Those that are interested in hearing what I have to say, or care that I have to say, well, if you're still here, then great. That's awesome. But like I said, you've been warned. And I'm not against anybody personally on my server. There's nobody on my server I'm against. There's nobody. It has nothing to do with that. So there is no strong language, or at least I will try the best to be civil. And I'm going to try, but basically this is how as far as I go as the language. To protect the butthurt feelings of some, I've changed the names in this, but you should know who they are. Basically, I've changed that because certain people do not like me talking about them or their servers. They've gone so far as to threaten me legally because of this, because I have an opinion. But anyways, it's really not about the server. It's about the individuals in the community they represent. So it really has nothing to do with a server. Then I could care less about what happens on the server. I don't care. I just don't care. So who and what is this about? This is about Burger King. And no, I'm not talking about home of the Whopper. You guys, it goes by initials of BK. That's all I'll say. It's Burger King. And Burger King, he is an admin on, I don't know if he's an admin on the server. I really don't know, and I don't care. But he is an admin of the Facebook group. I don't even know if he's an admin of the forum, which is dead. But anyways, I digress. The delusional anonymous multiplayer server. I don't know. I was going to be more blunt with the A, but I decided to be nice, because really I got nothing against the DAMS community. I really don't. I don't care what, if you're a supporter of DAMS and you like DAMS and DAMS is for you, great. That's awesome. My issues with Burger King. My issue isn't even with Mickey Mouse. Now, Mickey Mouse is the term I use, basically based from an alias I've seen in the past. I always called him Mickey Mouse. He's the owner or operator or whatever the heck. He runs the servers for your for oh, I almost said that. Shh, don't say that. Delusional anonymous multiplayer server. I almost said that. All right, I was just swearing. I didn't mean to swear. Anyways, since Burger King's statements have been removed today, which they were apparently sometime today, they were removed from the Run 8 Train Simulator Facebook page, which is a fan page that has admin access, I believe, to some of the owners or something like that. I'm going to be forced to paraphrase. Um, Basically, the phrase that rang out to me was entitled liberal. That's what I'm thinking. Entitled liberal. And yep, here we go with the political references. To me was about once version 2 is basically he said once version 2 is released, they will finally be able to release content for the community where it belongs. And I'm like, be able to release content for the community where it belongs. Basically, what's happening is Burger King has been spouting off, and he's a troll. That's the bottom line is he's a troll. I think he's full of it. Some smart guys who actually I was more concerned with. I wasn't worried about this guy. This guy was just a spokesman that was out there saying crap. And I've said, hey, if you got something to say, why don't you come over? Why don't you come over to my forum? You can post as anonymous, post whatever the hell you want, post in my YouTube channels, post anywhere. I won't. I will actually, as long as you're within the guidelines of the Wikia, they were welcome to come over there. And a lot of guys on the RTS Wikia, they didn't like that. They were like, we don't need the trouble over here. And they're right. I get that. But at the same time, I could move the conversation over into another subforum, called bullshit or something like that. And if people were offended by that or didn't want the trouble or blah, 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 I can move the conversations over so it wasn't annoying people, let's say. And I didn't want to encourage or bring on trouble. Basically, all I wanted to do was if somebody has grievances, be it with the Run 8 admins, and a lot of people have, not the Run 8 admins, the Run 8 team, I should say. If they had grievances with the Run 8 team, or if they had grievances or with me or anybody for that matter, they could just go out and tell me what's on their mind. And I'd be fine. I'm okay to have a civil conversation. The problem is these people obviously aren't interested in civil conversations. They're not interested in solving any problems. They're not interested in proving anything. They're going to wait until version 2 comes, and then they're going to basically make the Run 8 team obsolete, as they said, or as Burger King said not too long ago, about a month or so ago now, I think it has been. So, I mean, this wait must be killing him. I mean, he's got nothing better to do because Run 8 is so broken, apparently. I mean, all that work, I mean, they could have probably built another simulator by now, but hey, I don't know. So yeah, so Burger King is a troll, and I took the troll bait. I took it so big. I got so ticked off when I started seeing the messages about that. I was thinking, like, this guy's basically, saying, now he claims he's not breaking copyright and all this other stuff. What he's going to do is well within the legal realms because, what was it today? And I see the problem is all the messages aren't there now. And I mean, it's better that the messages are gone because it was getting too much. But how did he say? The message that I'm thinking of, I gotta think about this now. My memory's not the greatest, so this doesn't help that they're gone. But, I can't blame them for taking them out or removing him or whatever. But the message that was out there Other than I'm trying to gather my thoughts on this one. I wish I could go back and see what this was all about, where this all stemmed from. Um, but it was just, uh, oh yeah, copyright. Okay, so you have I guess there's this program that's in development. First of all, there is somebody that you probably have seen, and I was more concerned about him, but he actually was known by some of the Run 8 team, and he basically was developing or showing people how to modify sounds and skins or whatever for personal use. And I was a little concerned about it because I started seeing that he was trying to develop a route or doing something because he had Los Angeles in there. I don't know if it was a test or what it was, but I was concerned about that because I thought to myself, okay, is he developing? He couldn't develop a route. He tried doing it and he couldn't, but he was able to do some pretty cool stuff with sounds and graphics and all that stuff. Personally, I don't have a problem if you release something, or sorry, if you buy something. Let's say you buy, I don't know, a different box car or a different engine, and you wanna change the skin for your own personal use. Um, the comparison that he drew actually within the last couple of days was, well, Doc Machinist could do it. Dr. Machinist could. Doc Machinist had permission to go in and change the files in Run 8. I assume he had permission. I'm not positive on that one. I assume he had permission. He was well known in the community, and he had permission to go in and change the files to improve the signals. And he also had the engine modification as well. I had that, and I did use that. I had no problem using that. There's a big difference between what Doc Machinist did and for the fact of the matter what I do. I go in and I change XML files. I go in and I code XML files for Run 8. That's what RTS does. It generates realistic or best guess realistic or semi-realistic, but whatever. I've got random waybill generation. I go in, I generate the trains. They save up as XML files. They spawn in your world and they don't hurt anybody. Okay? They don't hurt the business of Run 8. They don't hurt their model. Neither did the Doc Machinist. Now, what eventually happened was his signal modification was conflicting with some of the newer upgrades, and basically John and others went out there and said that you're probably going to want to uninstall it because it's going to conflict with the changes that were going on. So that's why it's not considered an official upgrade, what Doc was providing. It was something used as your own risk. But it wasn't considered a threat. It wasn't considered something that was against copyright infringement or the ULA or whatever. It had nothing to do with that. Now, I guess the big thing with what they want to do, or whoever wants to do this, is they want to create, or they have created, or are in the process. I don't even know how they think they got this or know how it's going to happen because they somehow know what's going to happen in version 2. If they couldn't do it for version 1, what makes you think they were going to do it for version 1? Maybe they did do it for version 1. I don't know. I have no idea. I know there have been pirates out there. I know there have been other issues. But because they claim everything in Run 8 is broken or something like that. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. I'm not a real engineer, so I don't know if something isn't working as it should. But you compare that to any other simulator out there. And then, oh yeah, I mean, don't get me started about the whole bit about. I can't even think of, they're so irrelevant now. I can't even think of the name of the company that was supposed to have come in the last year or something that was supposed to take over everything, and they were going to be the be in and of everything to make Run 8 obsolete. And yeah, and then that didn't happen, and now, I mean, you got the other simulator trains, which releases a new version every year, charges you through the wazoo for I don't know what the changes are between the versions. Little minor changes, whereas Run 8 does free upgrades for 4 years. Give me a break. If that's what you like, great. I'm glad you like it. That's cool. So, um, now what's interesting between the conservative and it's basically the last line I put. Burger King, he acts like a liberal because of this whole entitlement thing. Like, this is the communities. We're going to do what because it's the communities that this belongs to the community. No, you buy a piece of software, you agree to a contract, you read the ULA. No, nobody reads them. Let's face it, nobody reads them. But people who do this kind of thing should start reading them and pay close attention. So, who knows what the next ULA? See, this is the thing. They can put whatever the hell they want into ULA. They can say you are not if using this software you are not permitted to modify such and such file without permission. That might actually be in the current ULA. I don't know. All I know is I'm not hurting anything, so I'm not worried about it because my intentions are not to compete. Their intentions are to compete. Yes, I understand they want to fix things. Okay, that's fine. They want to fix it. But when they go further and say, "Well, no, we're going to have our own thing of freeware or something like that," and the program's going to be able to do it. See, this is the thing. Their program is going to be able to do it and write the files. And this is where they claim they're not invalidate or they're not going against a copyright because they can go in and have a program that writes files. So basically, the XML files are there all along. All they're doing is writing the files. I can see what they're saying because technically, when you think about different programs, OpenOffice, for example. See, now there's where a comparison would work. What OpenOffice does is it writes files in the various formats like XLM or XLS for Excel or whatever, .doc for the Word documents, etc. So yeah, I can see that, and I don't know what Microsoft has a leg to stand on, or if they even care about those things. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I really don't know because I've never really followed it. I can tell you, I use OpenOffice because OpenOffice is free, and I got no problem using OpenOffice. I don't use it enough as it is. Then again, I go right into Google Sheets, and that's fine. So yeah, I will use something that does this. But what you're talking about is you're talking about using the version 2 software. That's like saying I'm trying to think of an analogy that works for this. You're basically using a program that you paid for that you only have the rights of the agreement to pay for, or sorry, to use, that you paid for. First of all, Run 8 is, when you talk about entitlements, Run 8 as a company is entitled to decide whether or not to sell to you. They can have limited licenses. They can do all kinds of things that you either agree by purchasing. That's the agreement. You either agree by purchasing or downloading or whatever, or you disagree and you go for a refund and say I don't agree to this ULA. If they've already paid, you get you go say I don't agree with this ULA. I'd like a refund. Now, as far as the various like copyright or this, I mean, I was around in the Commodore 64 days. I used to not pirate or use pirated software back in those days. Yeah, I understand when it's expensive to buy, software nowadays. I mean, everything. There's so much stuff out there that's for free, or pay to play, or something like that. It's really not that huge when it comes to that. But the reason why I mention Mickey Mouse here, and he doesn't like it when I mention him. He doesn't like it when I mention his server. Just for the record, and I don't understand what all the secrecy is about, because he used to have little banners that came across the top of the page that free speech is practiced here. I remember that one. That was funny. Um, and he claimed to me one time that that he doesn't ban anybody. And I says no, but your admins have, or they would go through and they would modify. Or sorry, there would be no censorship zones or whatever. They would censor stuff that they didn't like. But then he said, "Well, I just run the servers. They're just my admins. I just run the servers. They're just my admins, and whatever they do is their business," type thing. So he just, he lets them do their thing. He's not responsible for any of that. He just runs the servers and the equipment. Okay. Um, Bottom line is this: if I have an admin and I can tell you straightforward that I have taken admins and I've relieved them of being admins because they weren't following my guidelines. And it's nothing personal against them. Actually, they're still members of my server. They're nice people, but they weren't following my guidelines because I took ownership of those guidelines. I took ownership. Yes, I'm only the founder. I'm not even an owner of a California server right now. I don't own any of the servers. I'm in a partnership with a bunch of different servers. I take still responsibility of overseeing and making sure that, number one, there's a viable California server. I let them run their own thing and do their own thing as far as procedures and all that other stuff. That's fine. But if they're going to do something that I find is immoral, quite frankly, and this is immoral, there's nothing moral about it. You're talking about competing with a company who has chosen as their business model, unlike other companies who might be bigger fish, who may or may not. You can agree or disagree with their business model all you want, but the fact of the matter is, if they feel that they want a simulator, first of all, nobody's entitled to that simulator. Nobody's entitled to anything that Run 8 provides. You pay for it or you don't. That's it. And even if you pay for it, you have to follow the guidelines specified in the ULA. So if you think just because you have Run 8 version 2 or whatever, that you're entitled to do whatever you want with the data and there's not repercussions, well, I think they're taking this seriously. I don't know. I've echoed my concerns. Honestly, my concerns are starting to dwindle, to be honest, because I think a lot of people are getting all uptight about it and blown out of proportion. I'm only going through this rant because quite frankly, I'm a little bit bored, and I figured, yeah, might as well get this out in the open. Because I get emails all the time. I get emails, people are concerned and um, stuff like that, and they tell me what's going on. I appreciate it. I don't mind finding out what's going on, and yeah, and I'm certainly will be able to address their concerns. But I figured, maybe it's time that I make one more video while I still have time, because I plan on being busy. I don't want to be dealing with this crap, to be quite honest. And I only bring up the whole liberal and conservative thing because it's very strange, because I guess liberals and conservatives can get along. I suppose they get along on my server. That's fine. That's just fine. It's just kind of weird that you have an admin who has this whole liberal "I'm entitled" thing. But yeah, honestly, they all act entitled. Um, they're supposed to be entitled to have the forum or the official Run 8 forum, I guess it was, or whatever they think that their status was in the community, whatever they think they did for the community. Um, I mean, I was checking in on their forum tonight, checking it, and there's just a bunch of happy birthdays. That's all there is on there. Their forum's dead. I think the last post was October 5th or something like that. It spits out a bunch of happy birthdays. That's it. That's all it does. Apparently, their YouTube is a little bit busier, from what I'm told. I have informants on both, so I mean, there's enough people that can be nice or try to be impartial, but still give me an idea of what's going on. So unless you're going to have a completely private server where you're only going to have your best friends that you trust or whatever the case may be, you know, I don't know what it is. But to me, they're trying to provide a service for the community by doing this whole freeware thing or making the Run 8 team irrelevant. Um, this, it's like, okay, so I guess you're not interested in other routes because, as far as I know, they're not. These are other routes that they can develop. You take away your money stream, forget about it. Then there's other things they can do with the program to make it better. I guess people aren't interested in that. They think, oh, version 2 is the be all and end all. I don't know about that. I think there's more. A software development kit. Don't think for one moment that that's not still in as a possibility. Maybe when they get it right, when they feel they're in the position, they'll do it. They're still working on version 2 and trying to get the installer right. And the installer, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it has something to do with all this scare tactics that's going on, or what what there be. I don't know. But I guess it wasn't as big of a rant as I thought it was going to be. It's only 27 minutes. Maybe I'll end it at 3 minutes. I'll just show you the YouTube page that I'm on. And I say this because, it's... Oh, new message. I'm not worried about that. Let's go into... So, okay, that's Rant on Sean. Rant on Sean. I haven't even checked these. So what happens if Run 8 version 2 release doesn't happen till the holidays? I don't know. Life goes on. I had to remove Burger King statements because the company blackmailed me this morning, and I also been. What he's doing legally at Rant on Sean. Chris B is here. Chris Black. Okay, Chris B, aren't you on the depot? I don't know who Chris Black is. Wow, I'm actually reading all these comments here. This is interesting. Oh. He's on my server? Oh, dang. It said rant on me. What are you ranting on me for? Okay. All right. So, yeah, we're at 28:42. What else was I going to do? I was going to do something else. Never mind, I'm not going to look at any more messages. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to go into my YouTube channel. I'll just give you an idea. So I really didn't touch the politics idea. I was going to. Um, as you probably understand, I am a conservative supporter. I've been on both sides of the fence, so I've been all over the place. These are the people that I follow. I'm into wrestling. I'm into look at that. See, I even watch trains once in a while. I'm into some conservative theories. Mark Dice, wrestling. Greg Hunter, Bill Still, Ben Swan. Even though and Ben Swan, he's a pretty good. Lionel Media. That's another one. Lionel Nation. This guy is not voting for Donald Trump, but he really smacks a beating on Hillary Clinton. And if you guys are voting for Hillary Clinton, well, good luck to you. That's all I gotta say about that, because I mean, there's a lot of media. The media, the real media, is dead, and they know it. It's and this isn't about whack job conspiracy theories and all this other garbage. I mean, I don't even know if that's the real Anonymous, to be quite honest, because some of it seems weird, but I subscribe to it anyways just to check to see what's going on. But so this is the type of person that I am, as far as ownership. That people make things. I do believe in some of the economies. I also believe in social concepts. I believe in stuff called the Venus Project, which is totally what is it? Venus Project, Zeitgeist Movement. Those are all more leftist type organizations. So I'm certainly open to left methodologies, about becoming all one. I mean, Hillary Clinton's on for open borders and wanting a hemisphere of open borders. Well, look what the hell's happened to Europe. What's gone on around there? And they want that for North America and South America? Good luck on that. But, that's just all the things that I wanted to cover on that. I don't know what else I can really rant about. It's only been a half an hour. Is that all I had to say about this guy? Wow. That's crazy. I didn't want to go into my email, but anyways, I was there anyways. Yeah, I don't know what else. Unfortunately, I don't have. I was gonna go through the material on the Facebook, but I didn't see anything else on it. So, I might as well. I'm just gonna end it right now. All I can say is this: in regards to this troll, I think he's all talk, no action. And the bottom line here, let me just say this in regards to what I would do. This is just my opinion, what I would personally do. It doesn't mean that Run-8's going to follow it or whatever. What I would do in that situation is potentially have a limited license. I'll go into my channel here for a second. Where the hell is this? Is it down here? I guess it's down here. Where's the thing where I don't even know where. I guess I go into this one, huh? What I would do oh geez, I don't want to hear myself speak. That sucks. I think I'm still streaming, but if not, I'm dead. BK owns a company, yeah. BK Trains is what he has. I'm just trying to think if I could answer anybody else on here. So I'm into the chat for the moment, so how about that? I just paused that. Hopefully it's still live. I think I'm still streaming. Let me see here. Let me see if this works. Is potentially have a limited license. I think I'm still streaming. Yeah, okay, I'm still live. I just wanted to make sure. I'm hearing myself speak, and I want to get into the chat, but not actually hear myself. So I just paused the playback, so I assume everything's okay there. So, well, 10 people watching now, and I already got 2 thumbs up. Yeah, congratulations for me. But as far as like who does what for a community and all that stuff, BK's not doing. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing stuff for the community. Oh, thanks. Yeah, still alive, so that's good. He's still doing something, and it's on a bit of a delay too, like 30 seconds. So BK's doing something for, I guess, quote unquote, the underground community that thinks Run-8's broken, or is not fair enough, or not open enough, or not free enough for people to get stuff. Yeah, he is. I think he is too. And the other thing, when this is kind of cool having the chat here, because I can have a discussion with you guys about it maybe. And I'll read the chat messages as they come across. Yeah, he's basically. I think it's a stall tactic. Personally, I started thinking to myself, they're trying to scare the Run 8 team, and unfortunately, I perpetuated this by, and others, I'm sure, trying to let the Run 8 team know about these guys and what they were up to. I have a funny feeling that might be responsible for the delay of the game. I don't know. I have no idea. It could be just an issue, but perhaps they are putting security stuff in place. Um, uh, yeah, I saw the new teaser picture, the one with the UP and the fog. I saw that. That looked pretty cool. There was some confusion because the Run 8 Train Simulator site, it was posted today that there was all kinds of new released pictures, and that's not the case because I think the new folders went up that you had released trains or something in there. So, uh, yeah, BK's gone. He's not online anymore. Uh, he is pulling the legs, certain over at certain groups. Um, Yeah, his profile. He has 200. He's not a fake person. He's got 200 some odd friends. He has his own company apparently, or something, or at least that's what he calls it. Uh, the reason why I say that he's scaring the Run 8 developers is because I think the motive here is to destroy Run 8. I don't think I honestly don't think it's to take a program and hack the hell out of it. Maybe it is, but I think it's more to push it towards December. Because if they push it towards December, then we're already hearing, at least I've heard people who are disgruntled, who are, all angsty about version 2 not being released. And hey, I know how they feel. I wanted it last week, last year, last month, whatever. So I look multiple times a day. I think it's coming any time. So that's what I'm thinking. They're trying to push it towards something to hurt the company because I think it's a vendetta that is in place by uh, possibly BK, possibly Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse follows BK, so he can say anything he wants, but he doesn't. Um, so let's see here. Yeah, Raul ruins it for a lot of people, but I don't know. I think they want to make money, so they're just gonna yeah, changing horn sounds for personal use, no big deal. Yep. Um, who's threatening the Run 8 team? I don't think anybody's threatening the Run 8 team, but his computer file, the guy named, yeah, okay, I can't mention any names. People start threatening lawsuits to me. They can release it unfinished or buggy or wait and release it when it's ready later. Yeah, that's true. Well, Run 8's Facebook page, he's already been removed, so that you're not going to see that. He's gone. Which I had all kinds of material that I was going to run off. I was going to run off and debunk every one of his claims to what he thinks he's doing. But um, what I would do, and I'll finish this thought, and I'm going to end this because I'm rambling now. What I would do is, if I was Run 8, personally, and this is just my opinion, in order to prevent this, first of all, if they go to binaries, it affects me. Because if they start taking the train files, then who knows, they might already be binaries. They might have gotten out of the XML and put it right into binaries. They can encrypt anything. Um, and one thing that you can always do is you can reverse engineer an exe. And that's something I'm sure people have at least looked at doing when it comes to the Run 8 software. You can reverse it to its machine code and then try and find out when something or some type of security is in there and overwrite the code so that it avoids the security. So if there's copy protection or anything like that, if it's not well done, it can be easy to hack. What is difficult to hack is when a program on somebody else's server, for example, if it's a web-based program that Run8 has, and it is used to authenticate the data. In other words, you go to a doctor and you have a checkup, or you go to a doctor because you have a commercial license for a year, and you have to go to a doctor and get the okay from the doctor to get a license renewed for another year, is the good analogy, I guess, to put it. So what this web program would do is you would have a 1 year, you would have a, I don't know, 3 month, 6 month, 1 year license or whatever to the software. But in order for you to continue to use it, you have to agree to connect to one of the Run8 servers or have it auto update. I, if anything, and this could be with the installer, there may be some auto update mechanism. And auto update's a good idea to have, because what auto update does is it goes in and it will check your data to see if there is something fishy going on. And if there is, that's when they don't have to check your error report. They will have the data on you, the license you had, who you are, and then that's when they can contact the authorities if they wish to proceed, if it's something that's against the ULA. So it's something they can do. They can do all kinds of things. They could have encryption into the files or they can hard code stuff too, so that they can have the free data, but they can have hard code that actually calculates the data. And if something's not right in the data, if specific fields aren't right or whatever the case may be, they can just say, okay, this isn't going. Now, of course, that means free modification of files may become an issue. But I mean, these are just some of the things. I'm just going to go through the last few chat messages, and I think I'm going to call it. But that's something I would do if they were concerned about it. I think they got enough smart guys over there who will look into it. But that's about it. They can release it unfinished. Yeah, it looks on. What new game engine? I don't know. I think it's just. I don't know what the game engine is, or if it's still using the old game engine and it's just using the different XNA or whatever the heck it is. Or no, it's not XNA, Net 4 or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, they're dumping XNA. That's right. So, anyways, thanks for joining me, guys. So you got 10 people watching, so that's good. I just wanted to get that out there and get that off my chest for tonight, so you guys knew what was going on. This will post to YouTube for those who haven't joined or whatever. So appreciate you joining me, and I'll end this for now, and we'll talk to you next time.